Okay, welcome one, welcome all. This is Beers with Brodie, and tonight you're going to get to meet my coworkers. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Internet.
There's either a giant delay or you guys were faking excitement right there. I'm trying to figure out which
hesitated a little bit.
which one of the two it was.
I was waiting for Chelsea to say something.
Oh God, why
okay,
me?
no.
Somebody had to
She's
go
a boss
first.
lady.
I didn't really catch who went first, but
I think we went at the same time because that's how we vibe.
you guys are looking at each other
Sure.
like, hey. So it's great to have all four of you, the Fab Four. This is, by the way, if you're wondering, you're just tuning in, you're saying, all right, these what coworkers are these? You ladies have been on Sharks this year, but you've all worked in different capacities in our business. Some of you worked for NBC longer than others, and I actually would like to start off with just introductions because some people are saying, well, they've seen Sonia, and maybe they've seen Lovina on Twitter. Like she is a Twitter
Oh my God.
brand. What are you? A Twitter entity? What?
She's a
I actually
legend.
Legend.
just used this word, nuisance. Go
Nu-
with that. Menace to society.
Twitter menace. See, I wanted you to pick the word because I didn't want
You're
to.
allowed to.
I didn't want to like pigeonhole you into one thing, but no, that's awesome. Oh, and Chelsea, by the way, I know this is. I got to do my part here. Beers with Brodie. Now you don't. No pressure. Oh my goodness, she's got two Trulies. No
have
pressure
water,
if
I'm
you
boring.
are or are not
I know, I
enjoying
have
one tonight.
tea.
Oh, so water, tea, two Trulies.
I
It's
had
hot
a
out
beer
here,
before
man.
this too, just a prep.
Night. Wow. Well, this is going to get fun. I'm going with a double IPA here, so let you guys do most of the talking by the end of this.
He's
Uh,
fancy. He puts it in a glass.
Well, I just don't want to spill it over everything, too. Plus, the pouring was kind of an
True.
effect. So, everybody introduce yourselves. And Sonia, I'm not going to put you on the spot specifically, but you are like right to left, top to bottom. You're first here on the screen. So, some people are already familiar, no surprise, but introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do for us. Tell us what you also do that people don't see behind the scenes. So, fire away.
Okay. Yeah. So if you watch our broadcasts, you've probably seen me. I'm Sonia Tydinko, and I was born and raised in the Bay Area in the East Bay. Yeah, I've been here my whole life. What you normally see me do is only a part of my job. I feel like I'm really kind of a utility for our production crew. I do the graphics that you see on our shows. I don't design them. I'm not artistic like that, but I will fill out the stats and like the headlines, like research all those things, the storylines. I also produce features every now and again. Right now I'm working on 2 that will come out next month. So it's kind of a lot. Every once in a while I'll do a voiceover for somebody who asks. Yeah, I don't want to take up all the time.
No,
but
this is great.
I do kind of a lot of stuff that you don't see behind the scenes. And one thing I want to clarify, because I've had people tell me, they're like, oh, you have to do work? I thought you guys just go to work and drink beers and watch sports. And I was like, what company is that? Because maybe I'll apply. But we do work. Our day starts before we get into the office, so we know like everything that's going on. So how I would describe my position, I think if I had to.
Badass.
5-tool player.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, sorry, Brodie, you're gonna get demonetized. Sorry.
Yeah.
Badass is legal.
I forgot to ask.
By your third Truly, we may be demonetized. But
She's double fisting. Did we get the shot of her? Double
wow,
fisting?
she's upgraded from
Let's
3.
go.
She had 3 Red Bulls last night. Chelsea was walking to the break room after our shows. I'm like, what? Where did those go? What was that from tonight or this week?
Yeah.
You medical
So-
clearance.
No, it's survival. It's survival.
Oh, so let me ask you a question, Sonia, and then we'll move on to Rochelle. I'm going to guess you've been with our company for, oh my gosh, and I don't want to under or overshoot this, but it's like 7-8 years probably.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. That's another thing that I think people should know, because when they're seeing me like on our broadcast, that part's new. So I think it looks like I'm new.
Right.
I'm really not new. I've been here for
right.
I've seen a lot of changes in the company, a lot of, the ups, the downs, like the ins and the outs. So I've been in this business for a while.
Very cool.
I'm not a noob.
And you know what? And we're also going to get into, and so you ladies are a huge part. You are the backbone of our Sharks productions. We'll talk about that later, but I know you're also not new to the San Jose Sharks. What was the earliest memory you've ever had? Like I mean, we're all fans, let's just say it, but as a Sharks fan, like what was your first like memory?
Are you asking me first?
Yeah.
Okay. It was when I was like in elementary school. I was really young. And Archer Zerbe was the goalie. And I just remember every time we would go to the games, everybody was shouting his name. I've never been in a place that was so loud. So I was really intrigued by that and then by him. So I would say that that's probably my first or like earliest memories.
The tank is mesmerizing. I was the same way as a young person, and that Zerbe chant, like it really got me going. We share that. One of my first good memories too. So you're Bay Area born and bred. Rochelle, same thing with you, right?
Same thing. We actually went to the same high school, but I like didn't even know that. Someone's like, "Oh, you and Sonia are from this area?"
Really?
And I was like, "Yeah." And I was just like, "Oh, I've never heard of her."
Wow.
Well, we didn't go at the same time.
I was going to say, not
for the record, we did not go at the same time.
You did not cross over any of the same years, basically, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay. So, well, then how would you know? Yeah.
We do have mutual friends.
Okay.
That were like, oh, that's so funny. Like she actually knows like my best friend that like I grew up with. So I was just like, oh, what a small world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I used to go snowboarding with her best friend every once in a while. So really small world.
It's a really
That's awesome.
small world.
So Rochelle, give us like the first couple paragraphs of your biography, so to speak.
Okay. So also born and raised in the Bay Area.
Nice.
East Bay life. Went to San Francisco State for undergrad, did print and online journalism, and then went to ASU for my master's in sports journalism.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think sometimes
girl out
people
here
go,
with the full-on masters.
I do. I am fancy.
You're a sun devil.
At one point, I wanted. I still think about sometimes of actually like teaching journalism, and like it's just something like I really always loved school, and I was like, oh, you kind of need a master's for it, and so I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. I had a great time at ASU. I rep the Bay Area.
Oh, kind of lost your sound there. Wait. You're back.
It connects to my phone.
Oh,
Sorry.
no worries. No worries.
I'll stop texting you.
Yeah. Just rewind about
At
10.
least put it in the Zoom chat so we could all read it.
You know,
can you hear me now?
We can. Yeah, you're good. Just rewind about 10 seconds from where you were. So.
Sorry. So I was just saying I like rep the Bay Area harder than I rep ASU. I only went there for like 18 months. So I'm just like, yeah, am I a Sun Devil? But like a lot of people who like really rep ASU like went there all 4 years and did like the football stuff. Right? I was just kind of like a grad student, and I was kind of like, I'm in, I'm out. Oh my God, I'm like the worst Sun Devil because I always have to look at people's like forks to see if I'm doing it right.
I just did that too. I was like,
I'm always just like, and I'm just like hoping it's the right finger.
Rochelle, did you have, so you're saying you didn't really have the true ASU experience. When I say that because, look, I went to San Jose State. It was nothing like ASU probably is. I've been to Arizona a lot in the spring. I've been there a lot. Like, was it fun beyond the whole Masters thing? It was not fun.
I had a great time. Great time. It was a lot of fun. It's obviously cheaper to live there.
Yeah.
I made a lot of good friends. And so one of the reasons I picked ASU was because they were going to the Olympics, the 2016 Rio Olympics.
Oh.
And so I was just like, I'm going to do this program. I got selected. I think there was only 6 grad students and 19 undergrads. I had the time of my life. Was it worth the $10K price tag? Yes, it was.
Oh, okay, nice. Nice.
It was a lot of fun. Like we just had like these burner like little cell phones that we had to use. And they were just so ridiculous. I would have like this stupidest Wi-Fi name with like the stupidest password. My teacher would be like, "Whose Wi-Fi is that?" I'm like, "Oh," but like
Not me.
but it was great because we had to so our school rented out the entire hostel like living quarters. They had like private rooms, that they rented all like the shared rooms. So we had like these little orange wristbands. So we would go out like at night, and then we'd come at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and you have to stick your wristband through the gate, and then they give you a thumbs up, and then they'd open the gate for you. So we would come we would come in at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then we'd like wake up at 8 or 9 and like have to do our daily assignments. We'd be like, "Oh, we got this."
A true entry into this business, right? Like do it on no sleep, do it maybe after you're not 100%.
Yeah. You're like trying to figure things out. You're like, and it was funny because like people would assume that I spoke Portuguese, so they'd start speaking to me, and I'm like,
Really?
all right, like I'm like I don't. I would speak Spanish, but they wouldn't understand my Spanish nearly as much. So I was just like, whatever. So I'd have to speak English half the time.
Is your Spanish fluent completely?
I wouldn't say fluent.
Okay.
I can get along.
Yeah.
But like Portuguese, like in Brazil, they speak Portuguese.
Totally
so
different. Yep. Yep.
I think the people who did speak Spanish there are actual like South Americans who were just happened to living in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
But like other than that, I think they're kind of prideful and like don't really want to learn Spanish. But I don't know. But I can't speak for all Brazilians. But people are really nice to us.
Or Brodie, Brazil, for
For
that matter. That's awesome.
Have a great time there.
So wait,
They
you've got your master's, right? So how like did you always know you wanted to get into television production?
I think I realized it after I got my undergraduate degree, but it was printed online, and I would apply for TV jobs, and they'd be like, "Oh, you don't have the experience." I'd be like, "Well, what the hell is this for?" I think it was definitely easier because I at least had a writing background, and I could write good. So like I was able to like get into the business through like I met some girl at ASU, and she like referred me to my old boss, and like I got a job in TV.
Through that connection?
Yeah.
See, that's all. Like, if nothing else, like the whole thing was meant to be because of the connection.
Yeah,
Right?
because she was also a Bay Area girl. So I was just like, hey, like I messaged her, and then she's like, oh yeah, it's this person. She like shared the info, and like I got a TV job.
That's cool.
Just as like a news writer, and I liked it. But yeah, I've been working in this market for like since December 2017.
Wow.
So I've been around.
Can you
I
say,
worked in local news.
I was going to say, can you talk about that, or do you want to talk about where you worked before NBC?
Sure. So I worked at Cron 4 as a news writer, and then I did it for 8 months. And then a sports producer left. So then I took over his old job. So I would produce our 49ers and Raiders shows.
Okay.
And then when the fall ended, so like come February, we would kick off our Warrior show. So I produced like sports in that sense, but it was more local news, and like local news sports is a little different in the sense of it's not 24/7. So like if there's like breaking news, like a shooting or a fire, like you're like, sorry, sports is off tonight.
Right.
And it's just like, you're out, like
Right.
you're done.
Right.
Go home. On election days,
Right. You're
they'd be
done.
like, oh, sports don't
Yep.
even come in. And
Right.
I'd be like, great,
Right.
bye.
I used to live that life too, way back when. I totally get how that works. You get blown off some nights, like, oh yeah, breaking news
Yeah.
happened. You guys are done. Like, what?
Yeah, and we'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier producing like a 2.5 minute hit
Oh,
on like generic, like just like all the sports. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
get 30 seconds, you get a shot. Like
that's
it's
not
just-
even like
it's a
one
different
intermission
world.
segment. That's so easy to pull off on a nightly basis.
So it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
Cool.
Very grateful for the time I worked there. And then I left last year, and then like 3 months later, my mentor over there, Cassine, actually got a job at NBC Sports, and
Yeah.
was just like, oh, come work part-time for us. And it will be like a year at NBC Sports in like
Wow.
a couple weeks.
One of the craziest years we've ever had too. Like people coming back to the office, and it's just we'll dive into that topic later. There's a lot going on at our building. So
Not easy.
So 2 Bay Area locals. I know Lovina is also in that category, but she's last year on the screen. So before we go full circle, we got to go, I think, to where, Chelsea? Minnesota, and you had to stop in Arizona.
Oh yeah, you
Miss
know.
Great Lakes.
And by the way, Rochelle, you didn't quickly. What
sorry.
is your title? What do you do for our shows? Yeah, I mean, I know, but tell us about that.
Okay, so I am an associate producer. So basically, as associate producer, you help execute the producer's vision. And basically, I am Lovina's servant. I have to find all the time codes for all her video things. And to be honest, it's fine. Because when you work with a speed queen like her, I have to be quick. I'm like, I need to like work. Lovina edits the fastest editing person I have ever
That girl
worked
is
with.
done editing before
Like-
I'm done putting details in.
There's a reason. There's a reason. I'll get into it.
I love it. I love it.
So I just kind of help execute like the producer's vision, think of ideas sometimes, and then like help our editor get all the video and like find old tapes or whatever, and basically just prepare and like help the show in that sense. I did forget my Sharks intro. Let's see.
Oh yeah. What's the
friend
name?
of a
First memory.
friend-
Yeah.
A friend of a friend in high school's deaf dad was super into hockey, and so like I just like went over after like school all the time, and it was like in 2006. So it was like basically like when the Oilers and the Sharks had like their playoff rivalries, like every like first or second round, and just like never fared well. That's actually when like Choo Choo was still playing. Absolutely loved him, and like Nabby, and like obviously that's where I fell in love with Patrick Marleau. And as a child was just like, oh my God, Patrick Marleau, he's perfect. And then like 6 months after my crush, I found out he got married. Like it would never have happened anyways. But you know,
Oh,
like,
you
as
liked
a
him like
child, it's
that.
just like,
I see.
but like
We all
it
had
never
one.
happened. Like it was just like a childish thing, and I was just like, oh, but like who cared? Like it was just that was my intro to hockey. So I was always just like a diehard. Like when I was at SF State, I worked at a restaurant, and like all my tips I like spent on playoff tickets. Like I spent hundreds of dollars on playoff tickets. And so
Junkie.
it was just, like,
I love it.
at that point,
I love it.
So, like that's how I got into it, and I've always just been a loyal Sharks fan. And like the Stanley Cup final just like really crushed me, and I kind of just like stopped watching a little after.
Oh
that.
yeah, it was. Trust me, to get that close, but to feel that far away. I mean, I was there for all it. It was. I still think about it, like what a missed opportunity it was, and then how often does that opportunity even come around? So I think
I know
you honestly right there with the whole tips and spending thing, like I think you sold your fandom like 10 times. Like no, nobody can question that. We're sold.
I spent $650 on a ticket for the game 6.
Whoa.
And like I never. Like,
How old were you?
This was in 2016. So
Yeah.
like it was the summer before I went to Rio. So I was like extra poor and like dipped into my savings and like didn't tell my mom like how much it actually really was.
Were they good
but yeah.
seats? No.
No.
Never
Upper
mind.
levels, but like it was the chance to be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear.
So-
Well,
and like my other friend was actually willing, because like the hardest thing about Sharks friendships is that no one's ever willing to pay the price to go
do
to a
it.
Sharks game.
Yeah.
And so my
Or
friend
drive
was
to San
down.
Jose.
Yeah, I met her at Foothill Community College in Los Altos, and she went to ASU. She was flying in for the game, and so I was like, okay, me and Brittany are going, done. It was
I went-
heartbreaking, but a lot of fun.
I went to that game too, but they paid me only to sit next to Curtis that entire game. So at least there was a consolation there. Okay, so
Yeah.
Chelsea is our producer. It's her first year. She's done a great job, by the way. So wait, do I have the?
Let's go.
There she goes.
Hmm.
Number 3.
There it is. Oh yeah, I got sound effects here.
Damn.
Now, did you get the cupcakes last night, or did Curtis? I never.
I did.
Yeah, I
Curtis
thought
got
so.
the cupcakes.
He kind of made it seem like he did. After the fact, I'm like, I think Chelsea
Okay.
brought those.
Did you guys save
Me
me
and
one?
Rochelle taped photos of you onto cupcake pics and put them into cupcakes. Do you really think Brownie did that?
No, well, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought his involvement was low. Now it turns out it's 0. So
The sweatshirt was a gift from him that's been in my desk for 2 weeks now.
Oh my God.
Yep. So like that's been planned.
I actually cut the grass with it earlier today. Okay, so your
I
background.
also enjoy you said you had an oil change to do, and I was like, this motherfucker drives a Tesla.
Well, we have a minivan too, so I
Sure,
still
sure.
own another car. All right, so give me the background, right? So I've already said you're a producer. You've just joined us. Where has your personal and professional career taken you so far, and as much or as little as you want to share? Go ahead, Chelsea.
Oof, you don't give me that type of rain. That's not good.
30 seconds. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit. Okay, let's go.
Now I'm returning the favor to you.
I'm usually in your ear with time. That's
45.
true, that's true. I'm actually from the state of hockey. I'm from Minnesota. I'm from northern Minnesota, which is like an hour and a half south of Canada. I'm going to tell you the name, and everybody's either going to say it wrong or not know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Say it.
Bemidji, Minnesota. Exactly.
Sorry,
I'm
that was
from
my
Bemidji,
laugh track
Minnesota.
right there.
They have a college, and they're Division 1 in hockey at least. So like, there's that. But I'm from the state of hockey. I grew up in Minnesota. Basically, I wanted to be in TV since I was in high school. I actually worked on the TV, like the high school TV channel. Super
Wow,
cool.
there
I
you
also
go.
was nerdy and worked in the auditorium, so like very on brand. But
Like
learned a
video
lot, and
production? Video production?
Yep.
Is that what, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I did video production starting in like 8th grade. So I knew I wanted to do sports too from that starting point. And then I ended up going to St. Cloud State where I graduated early. Thank you. I was like, you're not taking any more of my money. We're finishing early. Like, we're done here. But so I went to St. Cloud State for mass communication. Right out of, honestly, before I even finished school, I got a job at Fox Sports North as a production assistant. Worked up there from intern PA, AP that also produced. And it was like, okay, if you want to get more games and more experience, you gotta jump up to the next place that will give you a producer spot. So I spent 3 years in Arizona doing Arizona Coyotes and also Arizona Diamondbacks. And about September of 2021, I joined NBC Sports. I have been bugging Brodie ever since I started. Like, I jumped in on A's, and I'm pretty sure Brodie's hated me ever since, right?
I've already requested that you continue on A's this season, which I'm pretty sure you will be. So
I am, yes.
satisfied
I am on
with
A's.
that. No, and it's crazy because you came to us, I think, through a recommendation of one of our former one of my former coworkers. He used to produce
Yes.
Sharks. He
So
knew you. He crossed paths with you, and he's like, "I've got the perfect person for you guys." And turns out he
It's
did.
super funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Brad
this.
Weimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Weimer, actually, I knew him he produced it at Fox Sports North / Milwaukee, because
Right.
it's Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He produced games there, and I was a lowly PA, so he had no idea who the fuck I was. But I knew who he was, and I actually reached out to him when I moved to Arizona, and I was like, hey, like, what can you tell me about Arizona? And he actually helped me get into Arizona. And then as I'm like, hey, I'm trying to leave Arizona, and he was like, I got you, fam. Like, let's go. So Brad definitely helped me get a spot at NBC Sports, which it's been working out, I'd say.
Yeah,
We have Girl Squad
100%.
going.
100%. Most people like you.
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. Everybody
No,
likes you.
There's a few, because I burped the other day and Steve gave me a weird look, so I'm pretty sure there's a few that don't like me.
Chelsea is very, and I'll share this because I think it's funny, but I get it, but it's also ridiculous. She's like, I'm not sure. People like you.
I'm just me.
Come on.
I'm just me.
Yeah.
You're
Literally
nothing-
everyone likes you.
yeah.
No. I'm just me. So like, I just show up. I'm me. I drink 3 Red Bulls. I talk your ear off.
You
I'm not
are
taking those away from you.
you are very
I'm taking at least 2.
very friendly, very competent at what you do. Like you check all the boxes for just like good teammate, good coworker. So like that, then
Well,
that
that's
people
the
like
goal.
you.
That's what we
Communication
strive
skills,
for.
too.
Good communicator.
That's what
That
we
was a good
strive
one.
for.
Yeah,
Mhm. He's a
absolutely.
He's a good captain.
So
Yes.
so
Well, if the ship was going down, I got to go down with it. So we're not doing that.
I would jump right off it. Yeah, I'll be the first to be
Exactly. Like,
rowboat,
I'd be down with the
rowboat.
ship, and then Brownie'd be the first one off. Brodie be the second one.
I'm third, girl. I'm third.
So you don't have like you don't have a Sharks background like at all. So
I do.
Well, do you?
Well, I had Brent Burns in Minnesota
Way
before
back
you guys
when.
took him.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
I have a connection, not like a full on.
Well, I was going to ask what sold you on hockey? I mean, you grew up, to your point, you grew up in a place where like that is so dominant, but like what sold you on hockey specifically?
It's really funny. I actually started my career doing NBA. So like I spent like 2-3 years doing NBA before the Bucks were good too. Of course, I always pick a team right before they're good.
They have that Giannis guy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. Can you say his name? I have the hardest time.
Antetokounmpo.
Wow.
Oh my God, she made it a cheer.
Wow.
I had to spell that a lot.
That is amazing, actually.
But yeah, so like I did NBA starting, but like I grew up in northern Minnesota. If you were gonna play hockey, you started skating before you could walk where I grew up. And my parents were like, hey, hockey's really is expensive. So here's some basketball shoes. Wear the same ones for 4 years in high school. Enjoy.
How's your skating, by the way? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
I actually did figure skate. So like
Really?
I knew how to figure skate. Yeah. And like they teach you hockey stop the first day. So you're good.
Yeah.
So I can skate, guys. I can skate.
Nice. Nice.
But yeah, so I actually started with NBA, and it's funny. I went to Arizona, and they're like, "We need a hockey person." I was like, "Well, at least I know hockey." Here we go.
Perfect. Yeah. So you wait, do I have my dog sound effect here? You covered the Desert Dogs.
I did cover the Desert Dogs. Yep.
Oh,
Does he have his little ding?
I'm looking.
This
No.
is the part where we need beers.
Oh yeah, you got to get drunk for this one.
That sounds so real.
You guys can hear that, right? You can hear that, Lovina?
Yeah.
I've got another one of them
My
howling.
dog didn't hear that because that would have been bad.
By the way,
Someone's dog is barking right now.
Every time Chelsea swears, I'm going to drop this one on her.
There is a sign on Chelsea's desk that says,
I saw it.
"You said."
Yeah.
What was it?
Go ahead, Chelsea. Tell them what it says.
Laminated.
Okay, so I have a laminated sign that my coworkers in Arizona made for me because I have a habit of swearing over headset. And of course, a lot of them had to hear me all the time. And it says, "Chelsea, stop saying fuck." In the bottom corner, it also says, "and shit, dick, balls, etc."
Wait,
So-
okay. Can I come in the control room tomorrow? I want to watch. Like, what?
What
I
ship?
actually
What
swear less.
what ship have you
here.
been sailing on, Chelsea? My goodness.
Don't tell my mom.
No, it's a TV thing. Honestly, you know what? So people think that I never curse at all too because they've never seen it. So
It's true. It's true. Well,
Yeah, I think it would sound weird.
I just
no, he does curse though.
Yeah.
I've heard
He
him
just
a couple
doesn't want to get
times in it.
demonetized.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the only time I heard him curse was when he had to wear that yellow My Team's blazer, and we were walking through SAP Center, and I'd never seen Brodie so mad for the whole day.
They told me everybody was wearing it, and then they're like, "Nope, it's just you and Curtis." Like, great.
We
Wait.
gotta get that picture.
All
I
right.
need that.
So that's a great background on Chelsea. Again, we're like just kind of going around the horn. I've got some other stuff to get
That's
into
more
here.
than you didn't know.
Lavina,
to be
we have
honest.
waited so long. You have sat here so patiently, and I'm sorry you were just last on the screen. But I'm most excited because you're not new to this. Like first off, you're an editor for us. That's already been described. Apparently, you're very quick. Like, but you're also a podcaster too. So tell us your background as much as you want, and tell us what you do for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay being last. I don't love talking about myself, but I mean, for you guys, I'd do anything, you know.
Thank you.
But yeah, my role is technically my actual role is called multi-platform producer editor.
Ooh.
So I basically edit the shows that we have on our broadcast that Brodie hosts. And yeah, I would say I'm a quick editor because I feel like when I work with producers, when I work with our previous producer and when I work with Chelsea, I read them so well that I can read their minds and know what they're going to put into the rundown, which like if people who aren't familiar, a rundown is basically just like everything that goes into our shows. So if like Timo scores, it's like, okay, well, Chelsea's definitely going to put Timo Meyer goal here. But even like little complex things that like that I know her brain is going to do, I just already know she's going to put that in the rundown. So I already have it laid out, and Rochelle's just like, girl, you already sent that, like you're done, like you're out of here.
It's true.
Like,
as soon as I put
Rochelle.
it in, she has it. I don't even need time. It's like Lovina's already like, I got it. And I'm like, okay, please hold.
I mean, it's mostly because I know I'll get stressed out if I'm like, oh my God, there's like 1 minute left on the clock. Cause like, guys, it's live TV, like live TV goes really crazy. Like, and I'm a person who like being completely honest, like I suffer from like anxiety. So I don't know why I chose this industry, but I feel like in a sense, like it helps me like in the craziest way. And I'm like, damn, this actually helps me, which for most people would say like, why would you want that added stress?
Yeah.
But for me, it helps.
Yeah.
As far as like my background goes, okay, where should I start with? Well, okay, let me start with this. Since this is Brodie's YouTube channel, we literally did the same program. Like we went to San Jose State, we did journalism, and I feel like I don't, Brodie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like people in our industry, like the sports media industry, if they did go to San Jose State, I feel like they did radio, TV. What is RTV?
RTVF, radio, television, and there used to be a thing called film. I don't know if film exists anymore. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like it does.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was a weird major, but yeah, a lot of radio and RTVF and print people, and you say San Jose State, which hey, I'm very happy with. A lot of San Francisco Staters out there too. A lot of Gators and a lot of Spartans.
Yeah, for sure. But I feel like Rochelle was saying, like her program was very like writing based.
Mhm.
That's another thing that I had to deal with because it wasn't necessarily like broadcast journalism. We only
Right.
had one class and it was called Update News. I remember your reel, Brodie. You showed me it for Update News.
You do update news also? Like did you host
Yeah.
some segments?
Yeah.
Really?
I
I
can
want
send you
to
some
see
clips.
those.
It is
I've got to get
awful.
my hands on that.
My hair is like blonde and like not even blonde, like pretty blonde, like Sonia's and Chelsea's. It's like yellow in there. And I'm like, welcome to Update News. Like the way I talk like that. Good Lord. It's not great, but I will say it was
I love
fun.
it.
It was fun. But again, like that was like I'm saying, my point is like that was the only broadcast class that I had. Like everything else, like I wrote for the Spartan Daily, which like broke me out and like acne wise because I was so stressed all the time.
Yeah.
Like writing is no joke. Like I have so much respect for journalists. If I'm like running around on a college campus that's not even that big compared to other campuses, stressed out over it, I cannot imagine for like people who are in the field. So much respect. But yeah, as far as like NBC stuff, I actually have a funny story. When it was just like, first of all, when we were like FSN as far back then,
Yeah.
but also mostly CSN is what I grew up with.
Yeah.
When I was in 8th grade, we got to pick what is it called? Like just like a elective class. And
Sure.
I decided to choose, it was called TV journalism / publications. And half the reason was because I was like, oh, cool. I want to be on our little TV program, like news program. Like that sounds like fun. And I also always like to edit fun videos with one of my friends. And we called it the Lovina and Melanie show. We had a YouTube channel. We would make like little dancing videos. And I was always the one who edited
So
them.
you were
And
TikTok before TikTok.
literally, but like long form. Like they were like we made a whole ass episodes like of just like
Oh my
dancing to like
God.
Katy Perry, like all that.
Where
that
does
kind of
this
stuff.
content live? You can still
gonna say,
upload
I'm
it. Let's
Searching for it right now.
monetize this thing. Come on.
YouTube.com/LM show with 2 O's. If you want it, I'm just saying. But yeah, I was always the editor for them. I remember my poor friend would always get mad at me. Like she'd be like, can I edit this one? I'm like, no, I'm editing it. But yeah, so I'm jumping around. But yeah, so
I love it.
basically did the TV journalism class. And of course we had some hosting stuff there too. I didn't love the hosting stuff. Same with like Update News for college. I wasn't loving it. I love the behind the scenes stuff. I love editing stuff. I love creating ideas, like, which I didn't know at the time was producing content. Like, I didn't know what the word producer was. And yeah, so
Chelsea still
told
doesn't, but go ahead. Yeah.
That is true.
I told myself that, like, even back then, I was a huge Sharks fan. And I told myself, I'm going to be an editor at a CSN Bay Area. And it's really, like, I always tell people this, and it's crazy. And I feel like it's crazy that actually did end up happening.
Yeah.
And this is actually my first job out of college, because I graduated in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started off as an intern.
Holy shit, I'm old.
I did too.
You're old.
No, you're not.
I went there in the
all.
90s. What, Chelsea
I'm going
disappeared.
off
Wait, now she's
camera.
back.
Sorry. I was laughing too hard.
No, but yeah, I started off in 2016 as an intern in the summertime, which is crazy because I was interning and very nervous and very shy through the Sharks' very first Stanley Cup finals. Right. And I was actually there logging the game, my little computer, not talking to anybody. And that was the day that when we clinched against the Blues. And I was not saying anything because I didn't know anybody. Like, who am I going to talk to? And also, I want to be professional. I'm freaking out. It's like my dream job, basically, at my dream spot. So I went to the bathroom and I like teared up and was like very dramatic about it. And I like called my parents and stuff. It was like one of the greatest moments ever. So yeah, it's funny that happened when I was sitting there. But yeah, so I ended up doing another internship, which was called Live Events. At the time, I don't know if it's going to exist anymore, but I think it's being transitioned into like more of an editing internship, which was what it was. So I basically put together player reels and all that fun stuff for like all the teams, not just the Sharks. Like, I did a lot of A's and Giants, like baseball stuff. And from then I graduated and I started working as a part-time editor. And then eventually I moved up into, what I am right now, which is a full-time multi-platform producer editor. So it's fun. It's fun. It's a really great atmosphere to work in. Like, with you guys, it's just been a treat, seriously, like every single day. If I didn't have a good team like you guys, I don't know, like, I feel like it's really important to have a good team, just have a good day to day. And I've been working from home personally. I probably should have started with that. That's a very big difference. I've been working from home for about 2 years now. And I just started going back into the office about 2 weeks ago, like kind of hybrid. And so I've been kind of shell-shocked when I go into the office when there's people around me again.
Yeah.
But it is a very good thing. It's very good for the mentals.
You haven't missed anything. It's been, I'll say it, it's been a shit show the entire time. So it's just,
I mean, yeah. Oh, I know.
No, actually, it started
when you guys were in a pandemic.
Well,
so, like, I don't know anybody other than their email address.
When
they're like, "Hi, I'm blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?"
No, when I started coming back in, it was January of 21, and it's just it was only a small handful of people, and nobody saw each other until. Like, I would not even see our old producer. I would not even see him some nights. I knew he was there. We would FaceTime and everybody be in different rooms. And then Curtis and I would go in the studio and that was it. We just didn't see anybody. So
doors were closed.
It's just been weird. So I'm half serious, but I'm also half joking. You didn't miss anything. I'm serious and joking at the same time. So let me do this then real quick with everybody. And then there is a deeper level I want to get into here in a second, but I want to start with this. So, and I'm actually going to go reverse snake here. Lovina, you've said this is kind of like a dream job for you. And I totally relate to that. I mean, I was very much the same way. I kind of like A's, Sharks, kind of like my things from 30 plus years ago. But where do you see yourself in 10 years? Would you still be doing the same job if it worked out? Do you want to aspire to something else? Do you have any ideas about that?
Yeah, I mean, that question's really hard because I just, as a person, like myself, I try to be as present as possible. Like,
Sure.
I feel like that's like a really big philosophy I live by, or at least I try to. I really struggle with this, is remaining as present as possible. But when I do think about that, I like, you know, when I talk to my boss about it and stuff, because he asks these questions,
Yeah.
and what I tell him is that I want to, you know, to continue to just create fun and engaging content. You know, when I first got hired, I didn't really have much pull. Like there wasn't really much where I could wear a producing hat.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so just like kind of like for example, Chelsea would tell me, "Hey, I have this. Can you edit it?" Okay, sounds good. Kind of like as an example. Chelsea didn't do that because she wasn't there when it was example wise. But now I feel like everything is just such a collaborative effort especially with our team, like I said before. But just like moving forward, obviously like hockey and the Sharks are like my beat, and I hope to continue to grow on that. You know, I feel like the things that really made me love not only, you know, the content that we had, like our channels that we had, you know, like the content like Shark Bite, like those old shows that we like loved. I grew up loving, my family grew up loving, you know, when Drew was like doing quick quiz in the locker room and Joe is Joe and saying something. You know it was good, Brodie. Come on.
It was. Drew.
We love Drew.
Everybody loves Drew.
I was disappointed when they were like, "Yeah, you're taking this over." I'm like, I don't want to take this over. I want Drew to still be here.
I'll take it over. It's fine.
Oh, you should. You should.
Yeah, but like, you know, that was the kind of stuff that I really fell in love with. And I'm just hoping to, you know, just continue to create more engaging content when it comes to hockey, which is my, you know, passion, I guess.
Well, and I know everybody's, if I was asked this question too, I think everybody would dance around it carefully because you don't want to say, well, I don't want to do what I'm doing now. Although I am a person who would say, yeah, I would be really happy to be doing the exact same thing 10 years from now if that was possible. But that's a rare thing. So I totally get like similar things. I guess that's probably the idea, right? Similar things if you could, maybe bigger scale, bigger opportunities. Totally. Chelsea, how about you? 10 years from now, are you doing something similar or what?
I'd still like to be working in TV, whatever form of TV that is. Everything's freaking remote now, so it'll be a little different. I would love to be a game producer. That's kind of what I've been striving for. I've actually been in the truck with Sean Madison for a few Sharks games, and it's just a whole different thinking on your toes. And like Lovina said before, it's an industry of anxiety, but like the game is even more anxiety, and I kind of like it.
Yeah,
you never know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I like, honestly, I'd love to produce the World Series. Like,
wow.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. But like, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. No, so
time.
Similar line of what you do, just on a bigger scale. Totally get it. Rochelle, how about you 10 years from now? Pick something out or point us in that direction.
I would like to think I'd still be working in TV, but I think sometimes people like glamorize like working in sports is like so much fun, but you like your schedule is dictated off the team schedule.
Oh yeah.
Like when I worked, when I did like Niners and like football, like I couldn't have a sick day because if I called out sick, then I'd be like so behind on my shows. And so it's just like, I think sometimes you would like to think that you can handle it, but it can be very rough. And I know I joke about this all the time, but like, I feel like as a 32-year-old woman, like I only have 3 good egg years left. And like, it's harder for you as a woman to like, first of all, compete in like, and be in sports and like, be taken seriously all the time. But it's also like, if you want to have your career and like have a family, like you have to take the time off. Like men can just keep showing up to work, like anytime, any season of the thing, and just like keep moving on. But like we don't get that luxury.
Throwing all the men in the trash.
No, you know what? Rochelle's she's edging towards like that next thing I was getting to. That's it, by the way. But so no. So you can keep going there now, but I'm saying you're also going to have that chance in a second too. Continue. Sorry.
So it's in that sense, like sometimes would I love to cover the Sharks all the time? Sure. But I know like for myself, I need growth, and like being in my home market is very nice, but like I need to experience other places
Sure.
and like have different opportunities. So like I think New York or LA could be next. I mean, like the Olympics are coming to LA in 2028. That used to seem so far away, but now it doesn't seem that far away anymore. So I'm just like, there's just so many things. Like I'm super into soccer. Like I went to the Women's World Cup in France years ago. I had a great time. Want to go for like New Zealand and and Australia next year. But it's just like there's just like teams, like there's new women's soccer teams in like LA and like San Diego. And like, could I see myself like go working for a women's actual team? Like, yeah, I could totally see that.
Okay.
I think there's just like a lot of things. Like I would like to still be working in TV and like working in sports, but it definitely like you definitely have to choose like what you want to be doing.
To what you said, and this is a totally different perspective as a dad, right, than being the mom. The last 5 years or so have totally changed like my perspectives on things, what I can commit to, things I just can't. I have to even make a choice sometimes, you know, like I'm at home and I can't do this right now. Or to your point, like you have to, as any adult has to make that transition and those decisions, but especially from a female's perspective, like, and let's get into that in a second. I don't want to go too far there.
Sorry.
No. This is on deck. So, Sonia, last but not least, 10 years from now, like hypothetically, paint me a really ideal picture here.
So this question is kind of, it's a little scary to answer because honestly, like if you asked me my senior year of high school what I would be doing in 10 years, I would not have known I would be doing this. I think back then I knew. And by the way, when I was a senior in high school, I don't know if you were still doing high school sports focus, but my point is I grew up on Brodie Brazil doing the high school sports focus. And so I had no idea like Brodie would be my coworker. I didn't know that. I mean, I always loved sports. I grew up playing it my whole life. And so that's kind of how this came together. Like I missed sports. But anyway, my point is just that I knew I kind of wanted to work in TV, but I didn't even start pursuing that until after I graduated college. So 10 years from now, I think I know I would still want to work in TV and entertainment. I love storytelling. I really like doing features. I don't get to do them as often as I want to because I have to do all these other things, for our pregame and postgame shows.
My bad.
No. Oh my gosh, Chelsea, you don't even know. I've been through so many producers. You're one of the one. Not to say that the other ones were bad. I love Jace. Jace was cool.
Sonia's been around like as I have. Sonia's been around a long. Like she is. Like to her point, I'll back her up on this. And the industry has changed. That's not just us, right? The industry has changed. Priorities have changed. Like a pandemic happened. It's still going on 2+ years. Like stuff has happened.
What Brodie is trying to say is we've seen some shit.
Yeah. But I mean,
I love that. I love it. Yes.
So yeah, I just didn't know in 10 years I would be doing this. So in 10 years from now, I still want to work in TV and entertainment. I love storytelling. I think I can see myself doing more script writing, whether that's for sports or, television. I don't know. I have a bunch of interests that sometimes, I don't know, that, things that just really pique my interest.
Sure.
So yeah, script writing is something that I'm interested in, that I would like to build some experience in. I would love to cover an Olympics one day. That's something that I would love to do, in the next 10 years.
Summer or winter, by the way, or any of them?
Both, but winter.
Okay.
I think I like winter a little bit better.
Okay.
Because I love snowboarding. So
I that's right.
Would want to be there for that.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't gone this whole pandemic, but that's my thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I definitely just still want to be in the industry, but it's like, which avenues am I going to take? That's still up in the air. And I think that's one of the great things about working for NBC is that there's so many different directions you can go. it's not going to be easy. I mean, this job, when you think about like the scheduling and stuff and things you have to miss and give up, that part's not easy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sacrifice that happens in this industry that you don't get to see. I think people see the peacock and they think, it's just a glam job. And the glam part you see is such a small part of our day. It's like probably 10%. So,
Brodie,
except for Brodie, it's like 100%.
As I do my 12th live stream of the day. Sometimes. No, I agree with you. I think people have always had the misconception, and I relate to it like this, that they think I just show up to the studio, put on some clothes and start talking hockey, and it's that there's no preparation.
You don't do that?
Well, sometimes I do, but most times, honestly, my brain is constantly ticking about what's happening, what to say, what's a good idea, what's a good show topic.
People on the internet, he's not lying. I will get text messages that I'll be like, these are my thoughts, and it'll be like bullet points. I'm like, okay, you've literally been stewing over this.
I have,
for like 24 hours.
I marinate. I let things really brew, and then I'm like, okay, send that to Chelsea, and then let's see if we put it in the show or not. But yeah, I mean,
usually makes it.
The whole thing is just it's a lot of work, right? And we're not here to brag and boast, but this is what this live stream is all about, is to kind of open up the curtains and show people a little bit behind the scenes. Now, on that note, there's a couple things I want to say. And before I kind of literally hand it off to you four, because I'd rather take myself out of this conversation, do more listening than talking. I don't think it's my place. But here,
we're in therapy.
Here's it. Well, yeah, I'm getting very professional all of a sudden, huh? So I look at the stats on this YouTube channel alone. I don't even know how many people are watching right now or will see this, but like the stats say that 90-something% of viewers of this channel are male. And here you are, 4 ladies working on a studio production of hockey pre- and post-game shows. And the other day, I know you guys were joking about this, saying, do you think do they put us all together because it's because you're all hockey people, and it's a crazy thing that here's 4 ladies so accomplished, so talented, so set in their roles. And this is honestly one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you gals on, because like I wanted the opportunity for people to not only meet you, see you, hear you talk about, what you do, but I'm also trying to be very, serving here in a sense of I want to learn, and I want people to learn about being a woman in this industry. What's it like? What do I not know? What would you like to talk about? Has it been easy? And this doesn't have to get overly personal or deep, but tell us a little bit of the background that it's like I said, this is kind of a rare situation that we have you 4 as our backbone. It's the first time I've ever experienced this many females in certain roles, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring it to light. And let me just say this, I want to bring it to light because you are all so good. If I felt uncomfortable about, I don't care who you are, what you are. You all are damn good at what you do. So let's begin with that. But as for the female perspective,
put the celebration noise in here.
Oh yeah, sorry, right there,
cheer us,
right there.
Thank you
for the girls squad.
As for the, how do I fade it out? Okay, as for the female part of it, like I would literally like to hear everything that you all want to say. So the floor is yours.
Who wants to go first?
I know. Does it help with a question?
Like a soundtrack for Brodie's thing.
So Sonia is a good person to start this with. So
I'll go as one of the OGs of the group.
There you go.
I will say this is the first time in my years of being at CSN/NBC that we've had all girl core crew, and I don't think that they did it intentionally. Like, let's just put all the girls on the same show.
No.
This is just kind of something that just worked out. It's rare. I hate saying this, but it really is rare, at least in our newsroom, to have hockey fans. And that really shocked me. That really shocked me because, and maybe that's because I grew up around hockey, like through my family.
Same.
Yeah, so I kind of just assumed, a lot of people like hockey. not as much as I thought that they did.
Wait, I've got the, yeah, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I love that we have not just all women, but women who are into hockey. That's one of my favorite parts. And this group in particular, we just naturally have this really strong support system, and we're open and we have fun. That's the most important part. So we just have this really good chemistry. This is what it's like, I would imagine, to have good line mates. You know, you just gel.
Good drop right
Top
there.
6. I'm telling you, Brodie, we're top 6.
There's
Top
only
6.
5 of us here, so this is Brownie in our top
We're
6?
taking up. I'll let him in. I'll let him in.
Yeah, just to round out the
Penis
6,
cupcake.
but that's
I'm more
all.
of a Dan Boyle guy. But anyway, sorry, continue.
Oh.
So I would just say, like, working as a female in sports, for me personally, I feel like there was always a lot of assumption. Oh, she must be a cheerleader. Oh, she must not know what this is. Just assuming by looking at me, not even asking me, not like I played basketball. I know I'm hella short, but I played all the time sports. That's all they offered. They didn't have a gymnastics team at my school, so I didn't get to do that. Yeah, I played volleyball and basketball for like almost 10 years. And, you know, in my earlier years at the company, I'd have some producers like, make sure you get the double doubles. That's when they have 2 stats that are in double digits. And I'm like,
no shit.
you mean that's not something on the In-N-Out menu? Like,
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah. Thank you for
10
explaining
more
something to
ins.
me that I did not ask for. So there was a lot of mansplaining that goes around, and they would say like, oh, that's a really interesting outfit. You should work in fashion. And it's like,
What?
if I go to work in fashion, they're going to tell me I should work in sports. You know? So, you know, there's just a lot of just like, it does feel like judgment. A lot of assumption, a lot of just being like misperception.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna add on to what you were saying. I feel like when you said mansplaining, I feel like mansplaining isn't necessarily, so I feel like a lot of the things that women go through in our industry, and like I would argue nearly every single industry ever, is it's not necessarily like very explicit. It's not like men are telling women, why are you here? Go back to the kitchen. Like, I'm sure there's some men who say this, but I've personally never experienced this, and I'm sure like you guys probably haven't either, I'm assuming, but a lot of it is just very implicit. It's very like, you know, in passing, it builds up. It's like, so that's how I would see like mansplaining. And I would agree with Sonia. That's the main stuff that I've experienced in the past, whether it's in college or in my professional life. Because in college, I also did some sports publication stuff where I was the video editor for as well. So it goes both in all those spaces. I think that a lot of it is just the assumption, again, like Sonia said, that, oh, maybe they just really don't understand this, or they, sometimes I feel like it's like they know that, you know, we do understand it, but they still feel the need to explain it because us understanding things might be intimidating and make them uncomfortable. That's how it comes off sometimes.
Don't
And a
care
lot
if
of the
I
times-
intimidate anybody.
What just happened right there? Was that it? Wait, I think I've got
Number
the.
4.
Where's my beer
We need
sound?
a
I
tally.
think I've.
I looked away for like 2 seconds.
Oh.
Oh no!
That sounds so weird.
I don't know. That makes me want to use the bathroom. Like,
I know. But yeah, I just feel like, God damn it, I lost my train of thought. Sorry,
Well, here,
guys.
let,
because of
let me pick you up. Let me pick you up while you recalibrate there. So this is not it's like, for example, the host usually directly works with the producer a lot. Like those, that's kind of a very common like connection and a common tandem, right? When you work in sports broadcasting, host and producer, and I hate the word talent. But so this is not I had a primary female producer for several years, but several years ago, and I don't know if all of you know this. Sonia probably does, but I actually met my wife from working at Comcast Sportsnet in the early 2010s. And so I learned so much from just dating her and marrying her eventually and her experience in the industry. Like I just never, the things you guys are already starting to talk about, I never experienced those because number one, I didn't think I was on the wrong side of some of that stuff, but also I had never experienced it directly, of course, right?
You've never had to prove yourself. You've
Exactly.
never had to walk into a room and have to prove yourself.
Exactly.
Like I've been in this industry since I was freaking 18 years old.
Mhm.
Like I started freelancing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk into a room and prove to everyone in there that you know what the fuck you're doing. Because if you don't, they don't take you seriously.
Yeah.
And like I've had moments where like I haven't been on my game and like I lost the room, and that I lost my.
Now you lost your
Sorry.
video. I did not do
Sorry.
that. I did not do that.
Sorry, Duolingo told me to practice my Spanish. No, I've had it where like
Ay, Dios
I
mío.
haven't been on my
Sorry.
game and I've lost the room and like nobody takes you seriously, and I don't feel like it's as easy for like a woman to walk into a room and do that. Like men can walk into a room and fit in quite perfectly because everybody else is a dude around you.
Mm-hmm.
I walk into a room and I'm like, hi, I'm probably half your age and I'm gonna tell you what to do. But here we are.
But you're right. Like, and if you don't bring it, I know what you're saying. If you feel like if you don't bring it right away, it turns, right? And then it's hard to get that back. And that, like, we all have a bad day once in a while, or we make a mistake. Like I clearly made a huge one last night. Like, hey, whoops, we're gonna go this direction. For the
Not gonna
post-game
lie,
show.
that gave
Oh, yeah.
Brodie, Brodie, that gave Brownie like a perfect opportunity to give you shit. So it's fine.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
Nothing like introducing Bob Bugner when it was actually Randy and Hetty. But anyway, long story short. So I know what you're saying, and I mean I know what you're saying, but I also don't
You've never felt what we're saying.
exactly. Where does it so and I'm trying to figure out too, like I said, even one thing that frustrates me, and I'll just say it like this, is even like on this YouTube channel, I pretty much do sports. I do some other, life commentary stuff. I wish I was not talking to 92% males. Why? I don't know if anybody has any answers on that. What do you think? It's just the nature of who gravitates to this channel? Is that an algorithm thing? Is it? Can I do better? What is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's you. I don't think it's you.
I would say
I hope
that,
not.
Slutty your tops.
I mean,
Just kidding.
I would say
I'll try and tighten it up. But the dad bod's just not really kicking right now. Sorry.
I mean, speaking from my experience with the YouTube algorithm, like I consume a lot of sports content,
Mhm.
but I don't really, like, now that you mention it, I really don't get a lot of sports content pushed on my algorithm. And I feel like my YouTube algorithm is on like X Games mode at all times. Like I could be texting you about something and I'm like, damn, why is it popping up? Like it's weird. My phone's listening to me. But then I'm like, wait, why is sports content not? So that's a good point. Now that you bring it up. But yeah, I feel like I get a lot more, just like, I do also consume like beauty and like fashion content, but I get that all the time, but I really get like zero sports content. So
zero sports and
interesting point.
zero sports and zero ASMR, because before we went on, you said you did not like ASMR, right?
Me? You know what? I do like ASMR.
Or no,
but
was
not
it Sonia
the
that
kind-
said she didn't like ASMR? Yeah,
It depends
I'm sorry,
on
that's
what
right.
it is. I have this thing called misophonia. Sonia misophonia. You can look it up.
What is Sonia misophonia? What is it?
It's it's when
Sorry.
certain things bother my like I don't like to hear certain things like loud breathing,
Really?
chewing.
So I will stop eating in the control
Yeah.
room.
No, you're fine. I can't hear you, but there's just certain noises. Like I don't even want to just tell you what it is because then I'm going to start thinking about it. But there's certain noises. Okay, here's one that I don't like. I don't like the way cardboard sounds.
I'm like,
I don't like the feel of newspaper, so I get that.
Well, that's pretty
Yeah.
much that's a dying thing anyway. So 10 years, you'll never know.
Don't like it.
So let me ask you ladies this. We talked a little bit about your experiences, and I don't want to cut that short. Like, if anybody has anything to add on, like, please do. I kind of want to continue that, but I also would wonder, first off, let me establish this. None of us have like made it, right? We've not all made it, but we have jobs.
Does anybody ever make it?
Like, if I just signed
Where are we going?
if I just signed an 8-year,
Yeah, exactly.
$48 million contract, then I'd say I made it. But I guess the next thing I'd want to move into is like, what advice would you have for somebody who's younger right now, and is a female and is maybe interested in the business, but they need to hear something from you. Like, what do they need to hear from you? Who wants to take that up?
I would say that if it's something that you're interested in, try it. Why not try it? If it doesn't work out, you can do something else, but don't not try it because you're afraid that it's not perfect or you're waiting for the perfect moment. So I would say go for it. But also know that it's not just like a straight line to success. I mean, nothing is, but there's a lot of things in this industry that people don't know. Like I was saying earlier, they see the peacock and they think it's glamorized, but they don't know that a lot of these jobs, they don't start off paying well, or I don't know if they ever do end up paying well, but so there's sacrifice on that end. You work all these hours where you work nights, weekends, holidays. So you're going to miss out on some things, and you have to be okay with that if you want to work in this industry. And then have a voice, because you will get tested. You'll get scrutinized. You are kind of like under a microscope where you are held to a higher standard probably than most of your peers. So you have to really have a thick skin to be in this industry. But I definitely encourage people to try it out if it's something, because you'll never know. If you never do it, you're never going to know. And there are a lot of times where it's really fun. So, things pay off, but just do it is what I say.
Okay, Nike.
By Nike. Speaking of Nike, I did not get the sneakers this morning.
And she
I
woke
woke
up
up
early.
You woke up at
I woke
7?
up at 7. I
Which
did not get the
ones?
Nike Dunks high. Like, I'm very upset.
Wait, send me a
It's
pic.
fine.
I want to see.
I will send them to you.
I want to see.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Awesome.
is a sneaker junkie. Like, she is big into her
Apparently so.
shoes.
I made friends basically because I like sneakers.
What's
I wanna see that.
what's the best pair you have, or like what's your prized pair right now?
I have a pair of like sparkly silver Nike Dunk lows that I'm a big fan of.
Ooh.
That I think I've only wore them to one San Jose Sharks game with Rochelle. And that's the only time they've seen the light of day because I
Wait,
love them.
I'm jealous now.
When you have a pair of shoes like that, do you walk super carefully so nobody like steps on them or flat tires?
I bought crease protectors. So there's like a piece
Oh
of
my
plastic
God.
underneath my shoe.
Oh
So
my
it's very-
god!
That's a thing? Wait, send me that too.
They're on Amazon.
What?
First of all,
Crease protectors. Wow.
our
Yes.
coworker Tedla showing us he has like sole protectors.
Yes,
Like,
he has a
he
sole protector.
Hot glued this thing to the bottom of his shoe.
What?
It's supposed to last for years.
it was
because
like-
apparently there's discoloration.
It was like
after use.
shrink wraps around the bottom of the shoe so it doesn't discolor.
Did he show you guys that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I looked.
It looks
at
like parchment paper.
I'm gonna ask.
on
Like
his
next time I
shoes.
see him, I'm
He's
gonna say, "Hey,
crazy.
show me the bottom of your shoes. Don't ask why."
Dude, he just got some really nice all black Air Forces. They're top notch.
Really?
Yeah.
I also want to
Wow.
mention this about David Tella, one of our producers.
Mhm.
So here's something that people at home won't know about Curtis Brown unless maybe you've met him in real life. Curtis smells like a Christmas tree.
I knew it.
He smells, and it's a good smell. It's a really nice smell, but it's very distinct. And
Pungent.
so
It's pungent.
but it's like pine trees.
It's,
so,
it's like
very
you
earthy.
smell it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's very earthy.
Okay.
It's really warm. So, I always know when Curtis is in the building without even seeing him.
It's like a free COVID test. You don't have COVID because you could smell Curtis.
But David Tedla loved this smell so much. He was asking Curtis, what cologne is that? Turns out it's not cologne. I won't give away what it is because I don't want, in case Curtis doesn't want everybody to smell like him.
Oh,
it's not maple syrup. No.
How Canadian.
Yeah, David Tedla purchased the same scent. So now we have two people walking.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Smelling
I was
Curtis.
thinking
the scent.
Say that again.
I was thinking that I could smell Curtis at sometimes, but it was Tedla.
I'll give it away.
Yep.
Isn't it like a detergent?
Yes.
It
so
is,
we won't
right?
say which one.
No, I don't even know. But I think I overheard that conversation. I'm like, is he asking him about his detergent right now? Like, what conversation is this? Am I eavesdropping on? Wow.
Yep, that's what that was. So
wow.
There's some color for you guys on Curtis Brown.
Wow.
I remember that day too. David was like, should I go ask him? Should I go ask him? Should I go ask him? And I was like, yeah, you're fine. Just go ask him. And he bought it on Amazon.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Is there, let me ask you all this. Is there anything else that I'm missing on the female perspective? Because I do have something that's also next, and I am excited about that, but I want to make sure we don't cut this part off or cut it short. Is there anything else that needs to be said that you all wanted to bring up? Or, because again, this is such a cool opportunity. This is such a cool team and Fab Four right now. And look, I know it won't last forever because everybody gets promoted or this or that. But while we have it, it's so cool.
Brodie knows I'm getting fired, doesn't he?
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
Do you know
So
something?
dramatic.
Has some what?
Do you know something? Do you know we're getting fired?
Oh, fired? No. I'm
Who's
just
getting fired,
no.
Brodie?
Like Sonia and I have been around this thing for so long. We know that change is inevitable, or somebody will get reassigned to something else. Like it just happens, and a lot of times it's for the better for the person. But am I missing anything here, or you tell me? Is there anything else, or do we go to what's next?
Ooh, hands up.
Go ahead.
Oh no, let Lovina
go ahead,
I talk
Lovina.
enough for
Mine's
everyone.
quick. Mine's quick, and I forgot it and I remembered it now.
Okay.
I feel like the one piece of advice I would give, I want to also double down on what I said before about having anxiety and like working in this industry. If you are also interested in this and you have anxiety and you get easily stressed out or anything like that, or you deal with mental health stuff, don't let that discourage you, because Sonia mentioned having a thick skin and stuff like that. But I feel like you definitely should not let that stop you from applying to that internship, that first initial internship, or of course, if you're looking to change industries and from a different industry and you want to try something new, you should definitely still go for it, because I do think it's a good opportunity to grow within yourself as well. Because I can certainly say that I did. There are days where I feel like, oh, even like you guys, like literally yesterday, I like had a moment where I was like, wow, they all hate me. Like I messed up. Like, people have these thoughts and stuff, but I still feel like it's a really good growth opportunity within yourself, not only professionally, but, personally. I want to share this one quick thing I did. I was doing a Warriors show with none of y'all. And I don't think you guys knew about this, but I was doing a Warriors show. And I was putting in to the show some sound from Draymond Green, which is always very frightening because this man is always going to drop the F-bomb.
Just like Chelsea. Go ahead. Yeah.
To be fair, though, Eric Carlson does it too.
So
He does.
He does.
He gets me into trouble.
I'm saying, like, this reminds me, like, Chelsea, you know what I'm going to say. Because Chelsea and I have both dealt with the same thing. Mine was a little worse, though, because Chelsea's was, like, live. So, I feel like I had a way more opportunity to catch it. But basically, I didn't believe him dropping an F-bomb for over 4 hours before. Like, I had time to review this for like 4 hours. My associate producer, same thing, and they didn't catch it either. And
I was gonna say that shit's not on you. There's like 4 other fucking people in that room.
It kind of is though, Chelsea. I started it though. I watched the tape. I sent it.
As an
you know
AP,
what I mean?
you're supposed to double check.
Totally.
Hang on,
but
I'm
I
getting a
still
phone
think
call from
that
YouTube. Hello, YouTube? What? This video has been... Just kidding, sorry.
It's been demonetized for the first 10 seconds, please.
My bad.
But my point is, like, don't let that discourage you. If Chelsea and I, like, you know, like all of us, like, have had it happen, you know, and it can feel like the worst moment ever. I got that text from a higher up manager who was very, very nice about it. But, you know, some days maybe they're not nice about it.
Yeah.
Dropped an AirPod. But yeah, they could not be nice about it. And it's just all a learning experience. And I feel like just don't let anything discourage you.
What you're saying, you didn't want to make them, if it was your mistake, and to the point, like Chelsea said, I don't think it's not all on you. I know that situation, but yeah, like you're trying, and I go back to what you said about the stress and the deadline of this business. Like that definitely exists, and I won't lie. Like I have a therapist, and she asked me once. Yeah, she asked me once about the stress of the business, you know, and she's building it up like this must put pressure on your life. And I'm like, to be honest, as soon as the show starts, stuff can go wrong. And I don't lose sleep over that. I usually laugh stuff off. Like it's never what happens during a show that actually gets to me. Like I've done thousands upon thousands, and I know how to handle things. And even if I don't, I figure out a way. That's fine. But you're right, though, when you're new in the business, all of those things, like they can stress you out. They can deter you. They can't. It
feels like the end of the world.
It does. And it's the stress of almost like as if you were playing in the game that you're covering, you know, and you feel like you lost the game for the team sometimes, even when and then somebody will come up to you and be like, don't worry about it. Don't trip out off that. That's not a big deal. So totally get it.
Being the producer, many times, like I'll literally, like I'll wear shit a lot because like I don't want my team getting in trouble or getting yelled at or making mistakes or something that like I see it as I didn't give you the tools and the information to make the best decision, so it's on me. That's probably a personal problem. I don't have a therapist.
No, that's a good producer. That's a good producer right there, though, to deflect, disperse. You know what I'm saying? It's a good trait, right? It's standing up for your people. It really is.
Like if I don't prep my crew behind me, then I'm failing them, and that's on me. That's not on them. Like, so if Lovina did say she edited something and it just wasn't right and there was an F-bomb from Jalen Green, that's on me because I should have listened to that too. Yeah. Like, there's more than just you, Lovina, on that. But just knowing, like, to tell people going forward, if you wanted to get in this industry, especially women, don't be afraid to be yourself. I spent 5 years afraid to be myself. Now look at me. I don't give a shit.
Working in the newsroom.
And honestly, like everything's better for it. Better ideas come from it. Yeah. Better relationships come from it. Like I'm not afraid to be weird. I'm not afraid to randomly like pop into Brodie's desk and be like, hey, so do you see that power play? Do you want to do something with that? Like I'm not afraid to speak my mind, which is the main point of it. Like, don't be afraid.
You're saying get to that comfort factor as soon as you can, right? Like do what it takes to feel comfortable. And honestly, all of you've been put in these situations. Like you've been, you know, selected and kind of everybody's handpicked for the job, right? You go through an interview and you get hired. So you should take enough confidence in that alone that you've got to this point. Yeah, ride with it a little bit. Don't doubt yourself. But again, that's me saying that from the perspective of things that I've never experienced that you all have. So
yeah, I have a quick comment.
Please do.
In the sense of like, if younger women who want to get in this industry, there's definitely like support groups in the sense of like A, your friends, B, there's like groups like the Association of Women in Sports Media, and they have conferences every year, and I've attended a few, and it's really nice to hear. Like we had Mina Kimes was a speaker for one. Mm-hmm. I saw Katie Nolan in Miami, and it's really reassuring to hear other women also talk about their path and like hearing all the things they've gone through. There's definitely sexism in the industry. And I think part of like the support group of like having, first of all, female friends who work in your industry, and like there was things that I never really noticed, but upon venting to a friend, I was like, oh wait, that was really sexist. And like it takes it, like I think in the moment you're just kind of like shocked and you're just kind of like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I don't want to jeopardize my job. I don't want to be the person who's like, oh, she always tattletales. But it's not until like you're venting to a friend and then you're just like, oh wait, you know what? That was actually really inappropriate. And you're just kind of like, I think we carry those things sometimes. So like having women in the industry you can talk to and like at least get that off your chest makes you feel better knowing that like you're not the only one. It actually happens quite like everyone has a story. I haven't dealt with that much sexism. I've luckily worked with like a lot of nice men who've always been like super helpful. I think I might have been like maybe the first female sports producer at Cron, and like a year before they had just hired their first female sports reporter, which was kind of like ridiculous. We were just kind of like, are you kidding? But it's just having those support groups and those channels, and like just reaching out and like asking women of like jobs you actually like, asking them like, hey, I need some advice. Can you look at something? Can you look at my reel? Can you look at my resume? A lot of the women that I've talked to at these like events or like these women events, they've always are just always giving advice out. Like for example, Sierra Santos just got a job at MLB Network, but she went to ASU and she was a reporter. And every time I've met her at these conferences, she was always nothing but sweet. And it was just kind of like, she'd always be giving advice out to all these women. And like, you can ask any of these questions at these conferences, and just like having a solid support group of women who you can like talk to. Cause there's going to be days where you feel like absolute shit when you like mess something up, or you're just kind of like, I don't know why someone's treating me like this, and just like getting it off your chest and like telling someone is like part of like the process of like, okay, I'm accepting like what happened to me. If it's inappropriate or not, at least I'm getting support from my friends to tell me like to report it to someone, or to like tell someone that someone's treating you a certain way because it's not okay. So in that sense, just having a great support group and just like reaching out to women, and like sometimes they're so busy they won't get back to you, but just try. Like it's always like what there's like the saying, not the saying, but like people like women have told me like, oh, men always see job qualifications and they don't fit the 100% of it, but they apply anyways because they're so cocky and they're so confident and like male privileged. But like women, we criticize, we're like, oh, I only meet like 50% of the job requirements, I'm not gonna apply. And we hold ourselves back when we just need to have the confidence of a cocky white male that's gonna probably get the job based off his name. And so you just have to go after too. So you just have to like get your Lizzo, Beyonce energy. And just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go shoot for you know what? White men are gonna do it already. And if they're gonna be like, oh, white privilege, it exists. So like, don't be coming after us. Like, you just need your support friends, get your Beyonce vibes, and just go after it. No regrets.
Chelsea, what was the song I was talking about yesterday with Something Energy? It was the Mariah Carey remix.
Lotto.
Lotto.
Is that Rochelle? Is that what you're talking about there?
Yes. Get your Mariah Carey diva on. Like, I know her. Like, do that.
I think that's well, and actually that kind of leads to like one more thing on this, and I did plan to ask all of you about this. Who are the and I would love everybody to jump in with a name or two. Who are the females in this business that you look up to? And they could be with us, they could be at some other network, they could be on camera, they could be off camera, who are the females that you all look up to?
I can go first.
Please do.
So when I started as an intern at Fox Sports North, there was a female producer. Her name is Vanessa Lambert. She literally is the GOAT. Like, she's fucking good at what she does. She is actually a coordinating producer now in Tampa for like the Bally Sports, whatever region is in Tampa, I can't remember. But like, she is on her shit, and she is the epitome of women support women. Like, the second I told her, I was like, I really want to be a producer, she was like, yes, I will show you the way to become a producer. I will mentor you and teach you how to become a successful producer. Like, just that support system and having somebody behind your back, and like them genuinely caring like how you're doing and like what you're learning and everything about, like, I told her, I was like, I want to be a producer, and she was like, all right, let's make you a producer. Well, here I am.
There you go. And it's unfortunately someone that not all of us are familiar with. Right? It's like, it's not a front-facing person, so we can all say, oh yeah, I know her, I get it. But it's a person important to you. You wanted to single her out. I love it. Anybody else have somebody else they want to bring up?
Yeah, I have two people. The second one would be like a front-facing person that I think we know.
Sure.
But the first one would be, and some people might say like, oh, this is a cop out. Like, come on, it's your best friend. But one of our former employees who actually just left us and is also my best friend, her name is Josephine Lynn. I started working with her when I got hired. I didn't really, like I told you guys, I was very shy when I was an intern. So I didn't talk to anybody, including her. We think it's really weird all the time how we didn't talk. We would just walk past each other. But that was my fault because I was shy.
Yeah, but then you were both connected at the hip for a couple years, and I used to be like, is there a magnet between you both of you? Like, you just walk this far apart. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. The managers would literally have to like be like, she's sitting here, you're sitting here, you need to stop. It was like kindergartners. But yeah, of course, on top of like our personal like friendship, the professional stuff, she's the one who trained me. She's the one who put me on everything. I truly believe that I would not be the editor or professional that I am today without her. And I think that a lot of you also worked very closely with her and would say the same thing. So, and I know that people who are watching this might not know.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean.
Yes.
Jaylyn,
No, that's okay.
she's not old, but she's the GOAT. I get it. I agree with you.
Literal queen.
I agree with you.
And so, yeah, she put me on, and I don't think she's going to literally kill me for this. But yeah, so that's for sure. But the other person is another former, one of our honor talent was Fallon Smith.
Mm-hmm.
She's the first name that came up. She's from San Jose. She's a woman of color. She's just got the spunky personality. She's just like a really great person to look up to. And my personal experience with her when I first started interning, I got sent out into the field. And each intern usually got sent out onto the field, like just for whichever team was made available for the schedule permitting. So I got to go to a Raiders game. I was there to shadow a couple of other people, a couple of our writers at the time. And the writers were like a little bit, the people who I was with were kind of busy and I didn't want to impose or anything. And I wasn't really on schedule to shadow Fallon necessarily, but she saw me for like 0.5 seconds, pulled me aside, and she said, you're coming with me. You're watching everything I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. She said, do you want a sandwich? Do you want food? Grabs her purse, opens up this big giant purse and is like taking food out. I'm like, I'm good, girl. Don't worry about it. She grabbed me by my arm, took me into the locker room. I was terrified. These giant football players. She was like, you're going to take this microphone. You're going to ask a question. And then she pulled me by the microphone and was like, you're going to be fine. And I think that I feel like I haven't had the opportunity to like really thank her for that because it still made an imprint on me. Because again, I'm going to say it again, I was very shy. I was scared of everything. Sure. And she really made me feel like, listen, you don't have to be afraid. You're going to own your space. You're going to take ownership of your space in this locker room that is so testosterone driven right now. And we are the only two women that are standing here, basically. I don't remember if there's other women in the room. I'm sure there was, but she really did help me a lot. So, yeah.
Awesome. How did it go with the questions and stuff? Did you do it? You did it, right?
I think I had her feed me the question and I asked.
Yeah.
Because I was terrified.
Well,
like, what am I going to ask,
It's tough for anybody, right? But to your point, especially given the situation, like, I totally understand that. But no,
I know football that well, so.
Hey, that part I understand a little bit of it. I really do. Mm-hmm. Any other heroes that need to be shouted out?
I'm going to shout out one of our former employees also. When I in my earlier years at NBC, I got to shadow Kelly Johnson a few times, and I just thought she was such a pro. I mean, obviously she is, but it's just so funny because she has game face. And she gets in the zone. She might look a little intimidating, but she's actually really cool. But when she's working, I just really loved her confidence. She was always prepared. When she was in the scrum, she Always made sure her question got asked. You know, she'd never let herself get shut out. I thought she always did really good work. So yeah, I was just always really impressed by her, and she was always very grounded with herself. It seemed like it was really hard to really shake her. So Kelly, we miss working with you. But yeah, I would definitely want to shout her out. She's a total pro, and I enjoyed working with her and watching her on air.
Very cool.
Woohoo! I'll shout out 2 women. First, my former sports reporter, Kate Rooney. She still works at Cron 4. I miss her dearly. She, for the 49ers Super Bowl run, she was apparently pregnant, and like only our big bosses knew. And she was MMJing out there by herself.
Wait, real quick, describe I know what that is, but tell everybody what that means that she was doing.
MMJ is basically a multimedia journalist, aka she was alone in Miami.
Camera, tripod, equipment.
She'd have to carry everything in her little wagon.
Yeah.
She had no photographer. She set up everything herself. She'd have to go all the way downtown to do like their media things, and then like have to drive all the way up to the stadium because it wasn't like in downtown Miami or anything, and like set up her shots and like do her live shots and do everything. And like that just, I miss Kate all the time. I think it's so nice when you have like a female reporter and you have a female producer. We were just like, I don't know what it is, but like when you work with like women and you've worked with them for so long, you just read each other's minds. We were just so in sync, and it's just kind of like, you know what they're thinking. You're like, oh, totally thought the same thing. And it's just like certain things, like women like that, where you can like text and like they just keep you sane. Like you text them everything, you vent, and they just keep you sane in a job that sometimes can drive you crazy. Shout out her. I love her. I miss her all the time. I would even sometimes like DM her. I'm like, oh, this is a really good story idea. Like, oh my God, thanks. Be my producer forever. And like, even when she was on like maternity leave, the 49ers, like for the pandemic, had like the cutouts of like the actual people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was just like, oh, Kate's on maternity leave. Please only do Kate, because she needs to be a part of the team, because she's missing out because she has a child doesn't mean that she can't be part of the team. Like, so I was just like, no, Kate. I was like, Kate's on maternity leave, but please do her cutout. And I would carry it around sometimes. Like, it would be her desk. I'd scare multiple people with it. Loved it. Sometimes I'd put it in the back of like a camera shot and just like, hey, here's Kate and the Faithful to the Bay shirt. Because like I was just like, no, just because she's pregnant doesn't mean she's gonna miss out. And then my other one is like my former teacher named Paula. I'm gonna butcher her name probably. Paula Boyven, I think is her last name. She covered sports for such a long time. I met her at ASU, absolutely loved her and adore her. She's just like, I don't know, when you're like a woman in sports who's worked in it for so long and like has been in actual locker rooms, like back in the day, they're just like so seasoned and they always like know exactly what to say and like make you feel better. And you're just like, oh, thanks. But she's actually in like the Arizona Sports Hall of Fame for like, I think for like sports writing and stuff. She was also like I think she's like only the second woman in the college football national, like, hold on, I have this, the college football playoff selection committee.
Okay.
She said she was like the only woman out of this part. She like did her like 3-year thing. She's like, they fly you out fancy to all the meetings where you discuss. She's like, I got to have dinner with Condoleezza Rice. I'm probably butchering that woman's name too, because she was also a part of this committee. And it's just like having like those strong like mentor women that you can just like reach out and be like, hey, there's just, I don't know, they just like kind of renew your interest and kind of just like keep your like little light going, because like sometimes you're just like, man, everything sucks, I'm doing the worst thing ever, I'm being a total pessimist and hate myself, and then you're just kind of like, okay, I just need to reach out to vent, talk to the people who keep me sane and keep me going. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go kick ass. Why? Because I'm a woman, I can do anything I want type of vibes. So
I like it. It's great to hear. And I think what you're seeking in all those people is an example, right? Somebody who's been there before, done that, and they turned they turned everything they learned on you all and said, I'm going to show you something, or I'm here for you, or whatever. It's very cool. Let me also add this. I forget who just mentioned it because it was a couple minutes ago, but you guys have a group chat Like you guys text? What does it have a
A
name?
lot.
Girl
It
chat?
has 4 emojis as our name.
Lavina emoji'd us for our group name.
Let's see.
I'm the only blonde one.
Oh, so it's the images of you that make up. Okay,
And
so
a
that's
shark. And a shark.
Oh, there it
It's
is.
a little shark.
There it is.
I do
Okay.
want to change my mine to the medium skin tone one.
Well, first they only
Yeah,
had one
let's do
option
it.
for dark hair.
I'm definitely the lightest one. Like I'm pale.
So
I know. I was like, I'm not the same one as Lovina.
No.
It took me about a month or two plus, I would say, to figure out that there was this chat going on. And I think Chelsea told me, she's like, oh yeah, we have girls chat. And I was like, okay, I want to know that exists, and I also want to recognize it, but I also want to recognize it in a sense that I don't want. She's like, "Do you want to be in on it?" I'm like, no.
I was like,
Yeah,
do you
why
want to be in it? I don't think you want to.
I said I don't want to be in it, but I just want to acknowledge it, right? I want to respect it, acknowledge it, and say that's it. That's all I have for it.
You can be in it, Brodie, and we'll make you the surprised emoji because that's usually Brodie's face when we talk in front of him.
Oh, so here's
There's
one.
So many things in that chat.
Oh, I won't even ask about that. Like I know better than that. But here's kind of how I want to close out, because I don't know how long this part's going to go, but this is kind of the last thing. We all cover the Sharks. We all love hockey. I want to talk a little bit about this season. Maybe let's just leave it on one topic, because there's like literally 1,000 different places we could go. Anybody want to start off with where the team is at right now, moving forward, what you like, what you don't like, what's frustrated you, what's been good? Who's got an opener on that one?
I'll just say that, for the past few years, every season we are seeing more and more new faces, and they're getting younger and younger. So I think just based off of that, like my expectations heading into the season, I don't know how to say this, but like they weren't high, but of course I want them to succeed,
Right.
But I think I entered this season with definitely a lot of I was definitely more realistic about this. So their performance right now I'm not really surprised by it. Actually, it's funny because, Chelsea is new to the season. And so when they started off like 4-0, she was like, are we good, guys? And I was like, just wait. And here we are.
How long in Arizona? Okay.
Yeah, she'd never seen 4 wins in a row.
Yeah. So, I think they've definitely had their moments, especially earlier in the season, like with the Charcuterie crew, how they were, they were doing pretty well with their skeleton crew. And now I just feel like we're seeing a team act their age. There's just a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience. There's veterans too, but so I guess what I'm saying, because I didn't have high expectations, I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, fair enough. I think people had already talked about, well, do you fire Bob Bugner? Should there be a coaching change? And my point is like what was he handed? Like if I said, here's a playoff team, a turnkey playoff team, and he didn't deliver that, then I would say, oh, well, maybe we fell short of expectations. But I think it was still kind of a question mark if the team could get to that point this season. It would have taken a lot, and they didn't get there. I think depth, to your point, that's a great observation. I think depth, they just kind of ran out of steam, ran out of gas, and it was like if the season were 20 games, that group could contend. But here we are.
We got 82, Brodie.
Tomorrow's 70, right? So there's it's a totally different objective. All right, who's next? Who wants to vent, spill it out? And I guess this all doesn't have to be negative. I'm just trying to get your true thoughts on the team, where they're at.
I think that a big thing for me that I've noticed, whether it's online on Twitter, with my family and my friends who are fans as well. I've been a fan for basically my entire life. And I know that we haven't necessarily, we literally haven't gone all the way and won before. We've still been very consistent, and for hockey casuals to find out the San Jose Sharks are not making the playoffs, it's kind of weird for them because
Right.
we've always been there.
Right.
And I think that the fans, you know what, we can say this about Bay Area sports fans in general. We're all very lucky and blessed to have the teams that we have in this area. And I think that, again, I get it. People are going to say, well, Lovina, they haven't won. And I understand that. But they've still given us a damn show. Let's look back at 2019. Like, that was the most chaotic playoffs I've seen in my life, every round. So I think it's just basically what I'm trying to say is I think people are just, the fan base is having a really hard time and they're not used to this.
Yeah.
I can, like, my family, my parents, I'm like, talking to them off a damn ledge with this team. I'm like, my mom's like freaking out about this. I'm like, Mom, the team cannot, it's not possible for their whole franchise. I'm like, I'm sorry, but look at the Buffalo Sabres. You're not a Buffalo Sabres fan, like, and look what happened to Florida. Florida was just like irrelevant. People were saying move the team.
Right.
And now look at them,
Right.
God willing, Joe could go win his cup now.
Right.
But I just think that our fans aren't used to that. And whether it's okay, rebuild, or it's like, whatever Doug Wilson has said in the past, like a relook or whatever he says.
Retool, reload. Yeah, I know. You got to be
yeah.
careful about the right word. I get you.
I get where he's coming from. And then people are saying, well, Pavelski, team chemistry. And like, I agree with every little bit and piece that people are saying. Like, yeah, okay. Well, okay, we miss Pavelski. Okay, me too. But like Erik Karlsson, okay, but I like Erik Karlsson. Like, I appreciate him being on the team, and I think he adds a lot of leadership, and he's an excellent hockey player. Okay, injuries, blah, blah. It's like all this crazy stuff. I just think that you got to just go with the flow. We can't control this. Like, just kind of ride it out. I don't think that it's going to take as long as a Florida Panthers situation. It took them a pretty long time.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing up mental health again. This is very not as dramatic as I'm saying, but like, you guys gotta you just gotta let it happen, guys. Be present. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The team's gonna be fine. Take it from me, a person who is very nostalgic, and the last player that's left on the team that's very nostalgic to me is Vlasic. So like. I don't know, like Joe Thornton's my favorite athlete of all time. And I'm like, guys, like he's gone. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's just move on. We have Hurdle. It's fine. I'm just trying to like talk everyone off a ledge here.
I think what you're saying too is like the Sharks they're not going to make it for a third straight year, but that's the first time ever in their 30 plus years they've ever not made it 3 years in a row. And I was saying this to somebody else the other day. Think about, I don't know if, because who knows the Seattle Mariners playoff history off the top of their head, but I realized this last baseball season, they have not been to the playoffs since 2001. And I think
say it ain't great.
I think that's the longest streak in pro sports, which is now close to 20 years. Or no, it's longer than 20 years, right? Yeah, wait, dumb math, Brazil. It's 22. But
okay,
like,
we work in TV. Math isn't important.
Yeah, especially on the spot. But like, to your point, like we're talking 3 years, not 20 years. Is that? Yeah.
It's a lot. I understand, like I said, Bay Area sports fans are spoiled.
Yeah.
I understand that. In a sense, Sharks fans are also very, very
Yeah.
spoiled.
We've had it
even though we
good,
haven't
yeah.
won.
Yeah.
But we just have to switch. I think that, some might say Doug Wilson is not wanting to let go either. They're like accusing him of that, but I feel like Sharks fans aren't ready to let go either. Like
Yeah.
we have to move into this new era,
Yeah.
and it's not going to happen with just kind of like making them play. Like I'd rather not be like like Toronto Maple Leafs fan who just makes the first round and then or doesn't make it past the
Can't
first
ever
round.
get past it. Yeah.
That's literally Minnesota for the last like freaking years of my life.
Yeah, so
I hear
we just
you.
got to go with the flow and, just got to move into this new era, new leadership roles. I'm very excited to build the team around like a character like Mario Ferraro, for
Yeah.
example. So
It's a great one.
very excited to see what happens.
Let's see when he invites us on his YouTube channel. That's the one bad thing about hockey
let's
season
go.
is that he stops making videos, so.
If you need an editor, Mario, I'm here.
Well,
Are you telling me the youngest of plugs actually takes the season off?
Chelsea, that's it. See, that's
I've
pretty
watched a couple
impressive.
videos.
You just dropped his YouTube channel name. We had never talked. I didn't know that you knew that level of depth on him. That's deep right there. And
I literally am paid to listen to you talk, Brodie.
Okay, you're okay. Fair enough. You're right. But I only said that like once a long time ago. And actually, Lovina, he upped his YouTube channel game recently. I think it was last summer. He bought a new camera. But then I watched one of his videos and I was like, "Did you edit that?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah." And he was like very excited. His editing game like stepped up huge. So we actually had, I think we were taping something, but before we did that, we had a long talk about editing. You would love talking to him. Like he could honestly if he spent a couple hours with you to go over, Premiere or Final Cut. I don't know what he uses, or I'm sure you've used it all, but he would probably love that. He'd probably forget talking hockey. He would love. It's amazing. He could learn greatly from what you do. Think about that for a second.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, hey, I can skate, but I only ever figure skated, and I don't know how to skate in hockey skates because I'll fall flat on my face. They don't have a toe pick, so.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Rochelle. So you talked a little bit about it. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts about this team, this season, where they're at?
Chelsea, did you want to go?
Oh, Chelsea, yeah.
I really have to pee, but
You could turn the video off.
I was like, you can leave us.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
We're gonna wrap up pretty soon.
Fine.
I don't want to go too long on anybody, but go ahead.
Honestly, like I came in like just hoping for better than bottom of the division, and we're here.
Slightly better. Thank you, Seattle.
Glimpses of great. There's been glimpses of great. Like there's been so many good storylines and so many good moments that there's been enough to talk about, and like there's good things to build off of. But like obviously, like Lovina said, we got time. Be patient.
Yeah.
Chelsea's really regretting that third truly right about now. She's doing the little
I thought she was on fourth.
pee dance over
I
there.
am. It's 4.
You could you could do it. We're not holding you here. We're not holding you accountable. So.
Okay, bye. I love you.
All right.
See you with 5 Red Bulls tomorrow.
There we go. She's really gone.
Oh,
Really had to
she
go.
was checked out.
She's
I thought she was
crazy.
having an
She's done.
intermission.
I think
but-
she's coming back, but I think she really had to go. So I could sense that.
Yeah, she probably had to go.
And she
as
has to
far
bring her
as-
phone in the
sorry.
bathroom. Never mind, go ahead.
She's probably on her like laptop, I think.
Just as long as it's
Yeah.
muted, that's fine. That's all I care about. All right,
number
Rochelle,
one.
the team, the season, like where would you want to take this?
I definitely think there's good building blocks. I also feel like other teams have just also gotten better.
Yeah.
I think like when you look at like 2010, like when we played the Blackhawks in playoffs, they were just so fast. They were so young and so fast, and we looked so slow. And it got a little better, but like just other teams just feel like faster. I mean, like we played the Oilers and like Draisaitl was out, but like some teams have like 2 players that are really good and carry them through, but you don't know any of the other players. Like you don't know, none of them ever contribute. And I think sometimes some teams can have like those 2 good players that carry them, and like that's it. But also like kind of like I forgot, like Lovina was saying, I wouldn't want to be the team like, oh, we made the playoffs, but then you get like kicked out the first round.
Right.
To me, I'm like, just give me the extra vacation time for them to like work on their injuries and like have extra time for that.
Right.
I think as a fan, like after like the Stanley Cup, you kind of wanted to go for a second run, but you knew like they just didn't have that like extra it factor. Like they looked like they needed something extra, and it was missing, and like everyone else was just winning. So like when the Penguins won, we're just kind of like, damn, like they really had it all. They had multiple contributors. It wasn't just like a couple people playing. It was like a whole bunch of random, and also like playoffs is just like a luck. Who's on a hot streak?
Sure.
Who can carry you in, and also just like goaltending.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people like, oh, like the goaltending. I'm like, no, goaltending wins you cups. Like if you have a good goalie,
You gotta have
and you
it.
have, yeah, I was like, if you can like actually back up that goalie and not set him up for failure,
Right.
then yeah. But I think this, like, obviously this season I wasn't expecting that much either. We did have a lot of good a lot of good like little runs, like little streaks. It definitely feels better that the Kings and Ducks have also kind of sucked in the last couple years.
Now they don't.
I mean, like the Ducks have definitely had a lot of injuries lately.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, we're like at the same level. Like they were up higher.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, Colorado's really good this year, and you kind of expected it, almost kind of like the buildup from the last few seasons. So like, as to like Lovina's point, like fans have never felt like our team be like this bad, and like I don't really care for like firing Boog, because it's like bringing another person in is almost kind of like a setback, because it's kind of like being a Raider fan. They'd always have a new coach in, and of course the team wasn't going to do shit in 2 years. They wasn't going to turn around in 2 years, and then they'd fire them, and there'd be all this new like fanfare, like John Gruden 10 years. So he didn't really do much. So it's just kind of like, I think in that sense, like fans just like, also people just want to complain about their team. People just want to complain, and I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't. And we're obviously in rebuild mode. Very excited for Hurdle to stay. Tebow's obviously had a really good season, but in order to like contend, you have to have like multiple players be at the same level contributing, because it can't just be like a couple of people like, oh, how are we going to make it? No, it's not going to work like that.
I think you're right though too about, it's easy to go through transition and say, well, a coaching change is going to fix it, and this big trade's going to fix it. And then you do that 10 times and it's like, you wore that out. It didn't work. And now you're like really reaching, because now you have no tricks left, So I totally hear you. Well, either Chelsea's taken the longest pee in the world, or she really did check out.
She's never coming back.
I think she might have checked. She might have checked out. Well, I wanted to wrap it up soon anyway, and I wanted to say thanks to all of you, Chelsea included. But yeah, this has been, and I'm done for the hockey season, which I feel two ways about. Like, I'm going from one thing I love to another. I hate to end something early. I hate to have it incomplete, but it's just the nature of this season. They scheduled it to the end of April, and baseball even started late. And anyway, there's a lot going on, but I will miss it. And even though the last, 13 games might be heavy lifting, like what can they do in this final little push? I will miss it, and I will miss all of you. And I really, really do appreciate everything you all do. I thought it was extra cool, the all-female connection. I just think that's really, it's rare, it's unique. I've never had this many working on one thing, and I wanted to spotlight it because it's been really, really good. So just want to say thanks to all of you for all your hard work.
Yes.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
we love Girl Squad. I think when I have worked, and not like no slight to any other person or like any other teams like I've worked on, but like, I don't know, I think there'd be days sometimes where I'd work on different teams and I'd just be like, oh, that was kind of whatever. But like after like working with Shark Shift, I'd be like, oh my God, I actually had a lot of fun today at work. And like Girl Squad is it's just so nice and refreshing. Yeah. And I don't know, we just all really click well, and it worked. And so just like, oh, yay.
Well, and I always like too the fact that, I mean, like Sonia's a familiar face to people and she gets that opportunity, but I literally like to have people meet everybody that works on our show, because again, the wrong assumption is that I don't prepare. I just show up and start talking, and that's the show. But the other wrong assumption is that I'm the only one who does any work on it, like by far. So it's kind of my goal was to twofold, have all of you talk about your experiences, but also just for people to see you, hear you, meet you, all that stuff. I hope that's really valuable too. So I know that I won't get into the live chat, which I've looked at for a bit. It's been cranking through the whole time.
Oh, what, there was a live chat we could have watched this whole time?
I didn't have time to get to it, but I just wanted to keep it all like right here. But I hopefully a lot of people got a lot of stuff out of this. So I really appreciate it. Ladies, have a great end of your hockey season. I will see you in the office, and I'll be probably crying over a little bit of a baseball season that starts on Friday.
Yeah, we're going to be joining you on
I know
that
you will.
just as soon as
I know you will.
So,
We're all
We'll
the
join you
same.
next month.
So Girl Squad continues. We're not breaking
Girl
up the
Squad
band.
continues.
All right.
I'm on
Keeping
A's
us
this
together.
season.
Are you really? I did. Okay.
Yes. We made a couple threats. I told them I would.
Don't break up the band.
Yeah, I said I would shank one of the boys in the building if they broke a girl.
I like it.
squad.
I like it.
Well, I
Well,
was asked, like my boss was like, yeah, like, are you okay with switching from Giants to A's beat this year? I was like, yeah, like, don't I gotta ask me?
I like it. Just Josephine had it locked down for so many years. Like, I get it. Now you want to, I love it. No, and you're right. She
Part
was,
of the reason.
she was, I guess the most Josephine worked with another female producer I had, Lauren. She was around for a couple years in that role before she moved on to something else. But they were, and I'm only saying this because I don't remember so many different people and timelines. I'm pretty sure they crossed paths for a good couple years before Lauren left and then eventually Josephine left. But I've never had this many, and that's the best part of it. So I appreciate it. Thanks for staying. We went way too long, but I had a great time, so I didn't want to stop it. And thank you all, and I'm ready to end the stream. So,
Yeah. Well, final note.
yes,
Brodie, you are such a breeze to work with. I love working with you.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I told our bosses, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna work with Brodie." I was like, "Oh my god!" I like fangirled a little because as a Sharks A's fan, you're like, I was just like, "Oh my god, I get to work with someone who actually like follows the team and like fully understands it." And our bosses were like, "Don't tell him, you're gonna make his head bigger." And I was like, "I actually almost knocked him with the door the other day." There was one day I was like coming out and I almost whacked you, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
I'm a tiny little guy. You might knock me over if you hit me too hard. I'll fall over. No, that's hilarious.
No, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I like get to work with Brodie. It's such a breeze. I absolutely love it. You just like get it, and you're such an easy talent to work with."
I hate that word. No, I appreciate that. I really do.
I love it.
I really do. No, I appreciate it. It's a responsibility. Like what I want to do is put together all the hard work and kind of like prepare the presentation, and just, it's all of our hands have been on it in one way or another. And, and I feel like sometimes there are some nights where the preparation's there, but the execution is not, it's fine, but it's not how I really didn't hit it. And then I feel bad. Like, man, all the people that worked hours on this, like I did, so just know that I'm always trying to bring it for all of us. But I appreciate you saying that. So.
And he really is actually kind of a good mentor. Because you were asking us about female mentors, but Brodie over the years has given me some pretty solid advice that I still, think about, like when I'm doing stuff on camera or just anything else, like working on a story or an interview. So thank you, Brodie.
Absolutely.
I'm only saying this because Curtis isn't around, so I can't say this.
Well, he would try and help you, but he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So then it's just if it comes to TV, he's just there. He's a prop. So hey, anytime, honestly, anytime. So I appreciate that. Thank you again. I will see all of you soon. Should I end it right now? Should I hit the button?
Sure.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
All right.